When Japan announced its surrender on August 15, 1945, the entire country wasn't united behind the decision. Of course, no one was happy about losing a war, but a faction within the military viewed surrender as shameful, dishonorable, and unacceptable. As soon as surrender discussions began in early August, a group of army officers decided to overthrow the government, replace it with a hardline military regime, and continue the war. Their coup collapsed within 24 hours, and the emperor's surrender speech went out as planned. So why did a coup driven by national pride and military loyalty fail so quickly? By mid-1945, Japan's situation was hopeless. Its navy was nearly gone, the Philippines had been retaken by the US, and the Soviet Union, once neutral, was signaling hostility. Almost nobody believed victory was still possible. The debate was about the terms of defeat and the survival of Japan's imperial institution. The Allies issued the Potsdam Declaration, demanding unconditional surrender. To many Japanese leaders, surrendering without forcing an invasion was seen as disgraceful, especially given Japan's long-standing national mythology of never yielding to foreign powers. There was also deep fear that unconditional surrender could mean abolishing the imperial family, a 2,500-year-old institution. Inside the Japanese government, there was a deadlock. Prime Minister Suzuki pushed for surrender because further resistance would only multiply civilian and military casualties. War Minister Anami rejected surrender, pointing to Germany's annihilation as proof that Japan should avoid anything similar. Foreign Minister Togo believed surrender was inevitable and that negotiating details would be easier after accepting the main terms. Japan attempted to stall by responding with mokusatsu, interpreted by the Allies as arrogant refusal, not strategic ambiguity. The US then authorized atomic strikes. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed, and the USSR declared war on Japan. Even then, some military leaders convinced themselves the US had no more atomic bombs and was bluffing, so they proposed surrender only if Japan could. Keep the emperor, disarm itself. Avoid occupation. Avoid war crimes trials. The Allies rejected these conditions. This pushed some mid-level army officers to believe that only a military coup could save Japan from humiliation. Coups were not unheard of. Multiple attempts had occurred during the 1930s. And punishment for failed plotters was historically mild, which encouraged new attempts. Major Kenji Hatanaka led the new plot. He approached War Minister Anami for support. Anami gave no explicit approval but didn't report them, which they interpreted as silent consent. The plan was simple: seize the imperial palace, control communications, secure the emperor, and eliminate officials pushing for surrender. If the emperor cooperated, victory was guaranteed. If he refused, they planned to replace him with a more compliant successor. On August 14th, the emperor personally broke the political deadlock and ordered unconditional surrender. This was not a rare intervention. He had been involved throughout the war. But this time, his authority was final and public. He immediately recorded a speech announcing Japan's surrender for nationwide broadcast. Hatanaka's group launched the coup that night. They entered the imperial palace, killed the commander of the Imperial Guard when he refused to join, and used forged orders to lock down palace grounds. But they could not locate either the emperor or the recorded speech because both were hidden in a secure underground bunker. Meanwhile, top military leadership outside Tokyo condemned the coup and moved quickly to crush it. Without broad army support, the rebels were isolated and outmaneuvered. Realizing the coup was doomed, most leaders chose suicide, believing it was the only way to preserve some form of honor. The next day, the emperor's recorded speech was broadcast to the nation. World War II was officially over for Japan, and Allied occupation began. Japan was fully disarmed, war crimes trials were conducted, though more lenient than Germany's, and, largely for practical reasons, the emperor remained on the throne. Ironically, the one condition that mattered most to Japan was the one the Allies allowed anyway, meaning the coup was not only a failure, but ultimately pointless.